Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
These marriages are not perfect, but all in all, they seem to work. Marriage is an institution for grown-ups.
It's like a love-hate relationship.
There are no bosses in a modern marriage. He knows he's lucky to have a wife.
Right, straight in. Morning, everybody. Sunday, 26th of September. It is 7:45 a.m. It says it's 14 degrees. See me breath.
It's cold.
This wrought iron garden furniture is very chilly. I normally put me surfer toss pot hoodie on.
Yeah.
But I think that's a cow, that's not Laura. In the background. But I think you've packed it.
Well, under your instructions.
That's what stage we're at. We are at the almost ready to leave today. This is our last full day in Gloucestershire and Bristol and the UK. This time tomorrow morning, we'll be on the road again. And we've just written our cards for Leo.
Yeah, I held it together.
Which I don't think. I hope he reads and I hope he texts in. I don't think he will. I hope he keeps it.
Yeah.
Because I think one day he'll read that card and it'll mean a hell of a lot of it to him. I just don't think it's going to be today.
No, I know.
And we've both poured our hearts into it. And I've got to tell you, I know I laugh and joke on this podcast and I try and hold it together and let you... It's such a bigger event for you than it is for me. But I think dads in this situation become the workhorses, become this silent... It's men all over in it. I mean, I'm a very emotional man anyway, but I think men in general tend to bottle their emotions up and hold them in. And the last couple of times we've seen Leo, I found it really difficult. And because I've put this in his card, I've got so much to say that I can't start saying anything.
Yeah.
Because if I start talking, I won't stop. And it won't just be the good luck, we love you, we're so proud of you. It'll be all the dad stuff. You know, be careful what you're doing, enjoy every minute, do this, make sure you message your mum. And he doesn't want to hear, it's like the card, he doesn't want to hear it. And he won't, like when you showed him around his room the other day and showed him he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He just thinks, get out of my life for a bit.
Yeah.
And he'll come back to us, but you said this last night, he won't come back as our little boy. I think our little boy left. Psychologically, I think that little boy left for me almost at the start of secondary school. Definitely by the time he got his girlfriend. And he's been gone mentally for a couple of years. But the man that comes back, and he's not a man. Because you become a man by realising these things. And again, I thought about saying this to him, but you can't, because you need maturity to understand it, and that comes from life.
Well, I think as a kid, you spend that whole of your teen years, you can't wait to become an adult, you know, and having that thing of independence and not having your parents being able to tell you what to do. You can't wait for that moment, and then it's hard to tell them that being an adult isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Well, another thing I've said in the card is to never let this become normal, because at the minute it won't be. Every day is an adventure for him. Everything he does for the next couple of months at least will be new and vibrant and brilliant.
Yeah.
And every experience will be overwhelming to him, even just walking down the street in Bristol. Because I get that every time I go anywhere new. And I know what it was like to be his age and feel like that. But it doesn't take long for it to become normal. And once it becomes normal, I think that's when the realities of things start to hit you. So I've just said to him, if you can grip onto that and make it all an experience. But anyway, I think we'll talk more about that towards the end. But this is it's a difficult day. It's been a difficult couple of days. I try and make it light on podcast, but it's been a really difficult couple of days. We're coming to the end of something emotionally. We're coming to the end of something physically. It's been a long break. We tend to take these long breaks when we can, but we're going back to real life in a couple of days, which is going to be very difficult. So, back to yesterday, Saturday. I think we both woke up feeling rubbish.
Yep.
We folded the seats down in the car and put Leo's bike in there. And I almost didn't want to see him yesterday, because we're seeing him today, and today's the big goodbye. Today we're taking him for a Sunday roast. See if we can find a vegetarian one. We're not having the luck we thought we'd have with food in Bristol. And, I thought we should have probably took the bike today, but we took it down yesterday. We parked in Cabot Circus, our new favourite, cheaper car park, £8.50 for a day. Wheeled the bike through town with Betsy Pearl sitting on it, who's now feigning illness at every opportunity.
I think the little things, she's exhausted, bless her.
I think she's exhausted, and I think her little mind, she knows what missing somebody is, but I don't think she understands the enormity about what's about to happen to her.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Again, over the last few months, I've seen her want to be around Leo a lot more, and like holding his hand, cuddling up to him on the sofa.
Yeah.
And even they have got their little things that they do together,
Yeah.
Like there's certain programs that they've got their connection, and it's
To play the video games together. So
I think it's
affecting her in some way.
definitely.
So we wheeled her through town. It was earlier on a Saturday, and we wanted to see how we felt about Bristol. Now we've been a few times, because last Saturday we hated it. And we got to Leo's holes, his digs, came down, and I just found it really, really difficult.
Yeah, well, you and Betsy went through to where the bike.
Helped him put his bike. I don't know whose idea this was, but there's a little courtyard in the middle of his building, and that's where the bikes used to go, which is perfect because it's right next to the front entrance. Some bureaucratic pillock has decided the bikes should now go through, I think, about 8 doors. Every single one of them, you need your wristband door pass to get through. Every single one of them needs a different level of security clearance. So he could only get through so many. It took ages. But
Well, I suppose at least it won't get nicked from there.
It probably won't get used if I know him, being that far away. But yeah, we did that bit.
Yeah, you and Betsy went through, and I just sat out in the courtyard. I just didn't say anything because I just, like you said, he didn't want us there.
Yep.
And I felt like a stranger.
Yeah, definitely.
And
he's no idea what he's doing to us in that situation, is he? He's just going in the same way when he wants to go upstairs in Dubai and play on his Switch or lay on his computer in bed, and he's just like, oh, I'm going upstairs. He's doing that, but he doesn't realise that this is him saying it, hey, just go.
Yeah.
Go 3,500 miles, just go, will you? He doesn't realise what that's doing to us. And
because he's always actually spent quite a lot of time around us, he actually does on an evening come and sit with us, he does talk to us, so it's weird to see this side of him that we've never seen before.
So he's padded down 8 stairs from his room in his slippers.
Well, I was pleased he was wearing his slippers.
He's not going to go the effort he's putting his shoes on, is he?
Well, yeah, but what I mean is they were tucked away in his wardrobe. I didn't think they'd even come out.
Well, we didn't go up to his room, and I kind of feel like I wanted to see how much damage he could have done in 24, 48 hours.
Yeah.
But I thought it might have been a bit too much for you.
Well,
and he didn't offer.
I really needed the toilet, and so did you. And I wanted to say, "Do you mind if I go and use the toilet?" And I just couldn't bring myself to say it to him.
I'm busting.
He
I had to use staff loos downstairs.
He's telling us stories already of his flatmates bringing.
Well, it sounds like, and I know this is not a new thing, but it sounds like probably most of his flatmates have brought a stranger home. You know, one of them seems to be a Premier League swordsman, and I think he's the one who Leo is currently, you know,
Going out with.
Yeah, going out with, but also learning the ropes from. He's been to 2 nightclubs already in 2 days. Mm-hmm. And, but not a lot was said. I think you talked to him more than I did, and I found it so difficult. And I get it. I know what that will have looked like to him, because to him, I remember my dad being like that. And now I know that my dad couldn't find the words. So I just thought, oh, look at him not saying anything.
He probably thought we'd had a row or something.
Big dickhead.
We were just...
Yeah. And we'd literally just walked through town. We'd brought him his bike. We were excited to see him. We'd been to Snappy Snaps and printed pictures of us off with him, and pictures of him with his sisters. Really nice pictures, some from this holiday, that he can put on his notice board if he ever will. So we'd gone through all this thing, and this is what I mean, he'd walk downstairs. Oh, it's them.
I'll meet you outside.
Yeah, I'll meet you outside, put his bike in, and managed to innocently and accidentally break our hearts again. He just doesn't know, does he? So we left him, and you walk away as a parent with this numb, sad, empty feeling. You walk, and I just didn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
And I felt like that for these last couple of days, and I hate it because I think I would have loved being in Bristol. It's certainly our kind of place, but because of this side of it, because of knowing that somewhere is probably just a couple of 100 metres from us at all times, less than a mile, and we're just wandering around aimlessly like robots, almost just killing time. And I hate that as well, because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So we did. We walked through Cork Street where the market was on, which had a few different stalls to last time. You got yourself a pair of 45 quid dungarees, which I pushed you to get, because I know you won't get them unless I lean on you, even if you want them. I've not seen them on yet. There's obviously no way to try them on. It's expensive for market dungarees, 45 quid,
yeah,
but that's Bristol.
They're quite quirky. Mm. I did try them on in the toilets of a restaurant. Sorry. And Betsy said, "You look like a clown."
But that is your look sometimes.
Thank you.
With that. You got the nose. You don't need to buy an extra nose.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so we got 10% off because you followed them on Instagram.
How long is it before I can unfollow?
Can unfollow them? I don't know. I felt bad for them. I tried to blag a discount. Like, well, it's a market. It's not blagging a discount. It's what you do at markets. And they said, "Oh, we can't really do a discount." And there was a girl and boy running the stall, and the boy had just had his £300 phone nicked.
Yeah, you fell for that.
No, he'd had his phone
nicked.
No,
he did, but...
I could tell.
But you still, like...
No, she'd said straight off the bat, and I believe this, she said, "I can get more from online." She said she could get full price from online. And that's probably how she does the majority of her selling, you know. So why would she lose money on them? I understand that. But you got them. And then we wanted to go to an Italian restaurant. There is a distinct lack of Italian restaurants in Bristol.
Well, there's a lot, but...
There's chain restaurants like Bella Pasta, Zizzy, all them kind, Prezzo, the ones you get everywhere. But what we couldn't seem to find was the little family ones. Now, there's a couple. There's one called Giuseppe's and there's one called the Grotto, La Grotta. But neither of them in particularly nice places, and no curb appeal. Nowhere to sit outside and people watch, which is what we wanted to do. Yeah,
we wanted a little cute restaurant that we could sit outside, watch the world go by, look at all the crazies and the beautifuls in
And the weirds and the
Yeah.
strangers.
in Bristol. And yeah, so we just couldn't find that. So we ended up
Like moths to a flame.
back down
In the what's it called? The harbour? The haven?
the V-Shed.
Is that the V-Shed?
The beginning bit is the Watershed
Watershed.
Cinema, but the whole bit along, I think, is called
Called the V-Shed.
The V-Shed.
Which is instantly a vagina euphemism. Innit? I mean, I said to you, I've spent far too long in the V-Shed.
Well, yeah.
And you don't have to comment. But well done, Bristol, on giving me an extra euphemism for lady
Yeah.
parts. We ended up in Pitcher and Piano because you said they'd be doing pasta and we wanted Italian. Not only that, we ended up seated 8 feet away from the busker, who I think we've talked about on podcast.
Not the good busker.
Not the good busker. It's the old man, 65, 70 years old. Looks like he's had a difficult life. Little old man who stands there with a little karaoke machine, murdering classics.
And a can of, what is it?
Is it Special Brew? Tennants or something?
Yes.
Yeah, he looks like a Tennants kind of guy.
He opens his can and off he goes, shouting.
He's got one of them beards, stubbles, that you could strike matches on. You know, like that
Yeah.
proper man stubble. Anyway, he is so bad. But an hour later, I was missing him. Because as we sat there, that feeling we got last Saturday in Bristol, where we were like, this might not be the cool place we thought it was, came back.
Well, yeah, and up to that point we thought, do you know what? This is better than last Saturday. There aren't as many naked people around. Well,
Yeah. Not that we mind naked, by the way. You can
No.
look at naked people all day. But it's the drunken... It becomes... I don't know. I used to say Newcastle were like this. Newcastle in the evening. It's such a beautiful city, beautiful river, great architecture, and great people for the most part. Then at night, it's just this frightening, alcohol-fueled horror fest for me. And Bristol becomes that, but it becomes it at midday. It doesn't become it at night,
Yeah.
it becomes it at midday. So as we're sitting there, having a good laugh at the karaoke guy, the busker, there's just thousands of people. It's a concert stream, it's a river of people along the actual river.
Yeah, and so many hen parties and stag parties.
Now, I'm not going to be disparaging about an entire country here, but I'll say this. I think they're all Welsh. I think Bristol is so close to Wales. I think everybody probably from southern Wales goes like this. All right, let's go across to Bristol for a... I went scouse.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's like them going to Prague, Bristol.
yeah. It's Prague with a country accent. So in between the throngs of normals, and when I say normals, there aren't many normals in Bristol. I love watching them. I love the people. I love the style. I said this to you, I could walk out of here this morning in checky pyjama bottoms, a vest,
Yeah.
with a dustbin on my head, and nobody would look at me. Nobody would look and go, check this guy out, because everybody in Bristol...
But that's one of the things that I
love
love. Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked normal in my big baggy dungarees, woolen top.
Yeah. So, thousands of people walking past us were loving it, but were starting to not love it because a lot of them were drunk, a lot of glasses getting smashed. And then along comes the stag party from hell. Ginger bollocks stag. Now,
Ginger
apologies for the
bollocks.
words. I'm not going to edit it out because they all had that on the t-shirts for everybody to see. And they were all...
And they all thought they were beautiful, that they were attractive to women, that they...
They had the beer visors on, definitely, even for that time of day. The stag himself, most of them looked like sort of meaty, overweight rugby players, not in shape rugby players who
they
could get away
reminded me of the guys that every Friday after work down at the pub,
Yeah. A lot of beards, a lot of tattoos, a lot of shaved haircuts, and grabbing every woman that walked past. I've not seen that for a long time.
Yeah,
literally
they were quite grabby.
manhandling women as they went past. Now, there were a lot of women hen parties. There was a bunch of pirates came past, pirate ladies. They seemed to love it. They were grabbing them back.
Yeah.
Go sisters. But I saw them grab people who were like our mum's age. 2 blokes sandwiched an old woman. You should have seen her face. Like, she laughed it off, but I thought, it's probably criminal what you're doing.
Yeah.
And they took over this corner where we were. Initially, they started singing along with the old busker guy.
Yeah, there was a hen party and the stag party both started singing along. I think it was perhaps just Sweet Caroline or something at the beginning.
Yeah. Then, we were probably sat there for 2 hours. For the entire 2 hours, one of these idiots decided to get over the microphone, and I don't know if I've been that guy, but I know there's a cut-off. You sing your song.
Yeah, but he thought he could sing. He's one of these guys. He obviously was trying to show off to his mates, and like, he obviously is that guy that always goes on karaoke, but he's obviously not heard himself.
And nobody's had the sense to tell him, because he's tone deaf. He murdered every song. He wouldn't give the microphone to... His friends were stood with him as though they were all going to sing it. He wouldn't relent his
Well, he
microphone.
wouldn't even let the guy who was the busker, who wanted it back. In the end, that poor guy walked away because he felt so uncomfortable.
It wasn't nice. So...
Betsy the whole time's going, can I go and sing with them?
Oh, because Betsy, wherever there's a microphone, she wants to sing. And she got upset at me because I wouldn't let her go. And had it been quieter... I mean, normal families passing, I would have let her go. They did Valerie by Amy Winehouse. I'd have let her go and do that because she can belt that out, and people would have loved to see her do it. Yeah. But I mean, as I said, glasses getting smashed and stuff, and it ruined the meal for me. It ruined the afternoon, and it ruined what was already...
Well, it started off being quite amusing, and the restaurant was all laughing, and by the end of
Didn't take long.
Everyone's going, ugh.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were sweaty and gross.
And I started feeling quite angry inside because of the emotions I was going through anyway. I started feeling quite angry. So we left, and during one of their... before they came back on for the 80th encore, we got a bit of time to get past without being too close to them. We crossed the bridge, went across to M-Shed.
M-Shed, yeah.
Which is absolutely brilliant. It's a free entry museum, but it's a modern museum. So it's the history of Bristol, but a lot of modern stuff in there. About the area, about the people, a lot on the people, which I know you were really interested in. But, you know, like unsung heroes and famous locals, but not just famous locals, people who've done stuff for the community.
Yeah, and it was people that have so people in the community have nominated other people, you know, so there was kids, there was like an old woman, she was 90 something, and her husband had died in World War II, but from then onwards she sold poppies every year. And it was actually quite sad because she sold poppies right up to the age of 92, and then actually she took her own life.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah.
So nice. There was a lot of history, but there was a lot of modern history. Bristol is really clever with this and really forward thinking. The highlight for me was seeing the Edward Coulson statue. Now, this is the statue you'll have seen in the news during the Black Lives Matter protests after George Floyd's murder. There was a statue of Edward Coulson in Bristol. Now, he's a guy who's done a heck of a lot for this city, but he's also was involved in the slave trade, so somehow anyway, and during the heat and the passion, that statue had been toppled.
Yeah.
It had been rolled down the road, and it had been tipped into the harbour. They covered it in graffiti, tipped it into the harbour, and it was very powerful scenes to watch on the news from back home when we watched it. And to be there with it and to see what I would call an important bit of history, and they've got it laid there.
Laid down, and what a different... it gave off something totally different.
Yeah.
Then when you see a statue and they're tall and proud, and then you see it laying down, and covered in obviously the red blood graffiti, it had a totally different feeling about it.
And they had a timeline from whenever it was, 1800s, of everything about him. And it has to be said, he had done a heck of a lot.
But that was the thing, and there were lots of quotes from different people saying, you know...
If you're tearing down his statue, you're also going to tear down all the buildings.
The schools, the hospitals.
Yeah, the things he's built. Two sides to the argument.
It was interesting to...
They had a multimedia war behind it, so it was everybody's tweets and replies and questions and answers coming up. So interesting and done so well. I don't think that's going to be its permanent home, but what they've done with it, and they're asking you what you think you can add to the... So your thing appears on the wall. I thought that were really... Just a really interesting thing to look at and see.
Yeah.
So, well worth a look if you're down there. We came out of there, we walked along a place called Cargo 2, which is, I'd say, the hipper, cooler side of that harbour. The other side is the drunk stags and hens. There's none on that side, it's just people going about the business. Hipsters, families, young families. Some great little shops and restaurants along there. So that were nice. And that is a place we'd looked at on Google Maps because it's where Leo is going to be cycling.
Yeah.
We'd planned his cycle route from his digs to his university campus. So it was great to see that in the flesh.
Yeah, it is interesting after you've seen it on Google Maps.
We went back to the crepe kiosk at the top of the harbour. We all had a crepe. And we sat and did some people watching for another hour and a half.
We're regulars there now.
Yeah, took some pictures. And then we walked back through town and it was that thing again. And again, a really difficult day for me yesterday. I know it was for you, but I felt it a lot more yesterday. And we walked back to the car park at Cabot Circus, all the way through town. And it was just as all the shops had closed or were closing. Which,
again, how weird is it to see shops shut 5 o'clock on a Saturday when the town is heaving?
I mean, I don't know how many of these people walking around would be doing shopping, but I'm sure some of them would. And I feel like you could probably rinse another 2 or 3 hours out of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we walked back to the car. I just felt really sad driving back up to the countryside, back to the cottage. And I really wanted a Saturday night telly. Me, you and Betsy Pearl, I wanted to get the fire lit.
Yeah.
You did some packing. Got most of the packing done. Which again, it just feels heartbreaking. Everything we're doing feels heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was a...
You were bursting out crying every 2 minutes. I felt absolutely pants.
Packing for the three of us, obviously.
Yeah.
The reality is there anyway, but it's...
Well, it's 2 or 3 suitcases less than we came with, which is a big indicator.
I had that thought of how am I going to get on that plane?
Yep. And that kind of steered the rest of the evening. All we've heard on Radio 2, BBC Radio 2 every day, is interviews about, if it's not James Bond, it's interviews about Strictly, which we've never watched. It's a programme, we love British telly, but we've never watched Strictly. Last night Betsy wanted to watch it, so I'm thinking, right, we've got Strictly, we've got The Cube, we've got Beat the Chasers, it can be a proper Saturday night in, the three of us. And watched Strictly for the first time in my life. I don't understand who's good and who's bad, I don't get it. I like it, shiny, but I have no idea what's going on. Betsy watched that and then she just pretty much, the day caught up with her and she fell asleep on the floor, all wrapped in a little blanket. And then you and I just had a big talk, which we're doing a lot of, and I think we're good at.
Yeah, we could have made sweet loving by the fire.
Well, that's been one of the promises, that if we ever get an open fire, we're going to make sweet, sweet love by the fireside. I'll tell you this, the deed's been done, but it could have been done again. And I don't know about you, I just feel like I felt so flat, you know.
Yeah. No, it was, I think...
So we ended up talking.
A bit more talking, a bit more crying.
Yeah, and We got out our anger, we got out our frustrations, we got out our sadness. These are some heavy chats we're having. And a lot of it's been on this podcast this morning. We sort of thought it through a little bit more this morning. I think there's a lot of things. There's the holiday coming to an end, or the trip coming to an end. But there's so much coming to an end. And it was just a really difficult talk. And as the embers died in the fireplace, we went up to bed. And we get into bed feeling absolutely rubbish and feel like our boy is pulling away from us and disappearing out of our lives.
And one thing a lot of people have said to me, and I think I feel, is that there's a difference between boys and girls. Because we, you know...
So that saying, because I'd never heard that saying.
I think I've got it the wrong way around, but your boy's your boy until they get a wife. Your girl's your girl for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Something like that. But so basically, once the boy leaves and they go their own way, they get a wife and, you know, or they get a partner and they move on. Whereas your daughters always kind of come back to your mum, to the mums. You know, they want to still go shopping with you. They still want to.
Honey will end up being a better friend to you.
Yeah, and you know, she'll still want to go out with me. She'll still want to phone me when she's down and stuff like that. And that is true, I think.
Of course it is.
And
I mean, well, look at me and my mum and me and you. You know, like it's what happens.
Yeah, and also I think because girls are better expressing their feelings than boys. And the other thing, I think right now, if Honey was going to university now 2 years earlier, I would feel probably more confident about how she would be on the streets, if you like, than Leo, because I think boys, again, they rely probably more heavily on their mums and dads than girls do. And they just seem to be a bit more, girls seem to be a bit more mature.
Girls are like cats and boys are like puppies.
Yeah.
They just run around like idiots, defecating, whereas girls know what they're doing.
And I have had a lot of people that have had boys have said how much, and in fact, I know somebody who had twins, he had a boy and a girl, went to uni, the boy ended up coming home. So it is different.
So we get into bed last night, a really sad feeling. I actually, you know what I couldn't wait to do? I couldn't wait to put me AirPods in and put a podcast on and let it take over my mind and fall asleep. That's all I wanted to do.
I just wanted to open my book and read my book.
No sooner as our head hits the pillars, your phone dings, and it's Leo. I think you'd messaged him because I don't think he's got the impetus to send you the first message ever.
Well, I think it was when I was in the middle of packing, I just sent him a message and just said, I hope you have a great evening. You know, we're in the middle of packing. You know, it's making me feel really sad.
Now, he knows he's seen us today, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is probably the only bloody reason he replied. He replied and said,
I'm really missing you guys. It's all feeling a bit strange now. Now I thought, oh, finally. You know, that was my first thought, was like...
But it wasn't. You know what that was?
Well...
That was bad news foreplay.
That was, yeah. That was like...
He's giving you the bad news foreplay.
She, you know, Mum, I love you, but... And I'm like... And then about 2 minutes later, the phone dings again. Just to let you know, I am currently bleaching my hair.
He is textbook. He's just textbook every teenage move, isn't he? Now, I can't knock him. I bleach my hair every couple of years.
Look, and the thing is...
He's been such a nerd. He's been so boring. He spent years being so boring.
During lockdown, we were saying, let us bleach your hair for you.
Cut your hair, bleach your hair, do something.
And he wouldn't do it.
He's so straight.
And now he's doing it. And he's saying it like he's done a rebellious thing.
Yeah.
And it's like...
I don't give a toss.
I don't know what he thought my reaction was going to be, but I just literally said, is that you pre-warning me, laughing face kind of thing? And he went, exactly. And I don't care.
I'll tell you what I care about. Yesterday, as we were walking through town, we walked past this Italian. Everywhere he's looking for waiters, waitresses, shop staff. He's got to get a job, right? I've been hammering this home to him, which I'm trying not to do as much before we leave. But yesterday, I walked past this Italian that he'd just huffed at when I said you could work in there, get good tips. It says outside, but on the back of the sandwich board outside where it says assistance needed, it's got the prices for a pizza chef, for a chef, things like that. But front of house staff, which is your waiters and waitresses, they're paying £11.50 an hour.
Really good.
And I said to him, on a weekend shift with tips, you're going to get more than 100 quid for the day. And that is a lot of money to him. So I texted him the picture and I said that to him. And he replied, he's like, that's pretty good. And I'd said to him just before we left him with the bike earlier on, I'd said, don't forget to do your CV, which I've been saying to him for 3 weeks and he's not done it. Just knock up a quick CV, right?
I think, but this is the thing, I think that's the reason that everyone's got no staff. But the thing is, everyone wants to get through their freshers. They don't want a job, and while they've got the freshers weeks.
I know, but it's about getting in first.
Yeah.
Even saying, I can't start for 2 weeks, I've got freshers, but I'd like to work here.
But that's
So
what
his
he's
reply
thinking.
to me was, I'll do my CV later then. That doesn't look too bad, that's good pay, I'll do my CV later. And I said, don't worry about your CV. Walk uptown. It's 5 minutes from where he lives, which is a great place to work, so close. I said, just walk in and say, oh, look, I've just moved over from Dubai.
Yeah, but like I said, he doesn't want to do that yet because he wants to have a couple of weeks of enjoying himself.
I'm going to put on record now, on audio, I don't think he'll have a job before Christmas. And then I think it's going to be me going at Christmas, right, I'm cutting your money down unless you get a job. So that was last night. We've up this morning. I felt rubbish since waking up. It's a really misty, cloudy day again. And I came downstairs to a hornet in the kitchen. I battled this hornet with a slipper. It was buzzing. It sounded like a Volkswagen Beetle from 70s. It was that loud. It was, that's 2 inches. That's the size of it. I took it on with slippers. I removed it with the pincers, the barbecue pincers, chucked it out window. I won the battle. It was terrifying.
I'm amazed I didn't hear you screaming.
I didn't scream.
Well, actually, the other things we had in the night, we had the fire alarms going off, 2 different ones, 2 different smoke alarms, nothing. And then 3 o'clock in the morning, I get text from Honey. I'm not feeling well. I'm feeling really sick. I'm not going to school. And then about 4 o'clock, I think I had a message saying, can you email the school? But I didn't see that one. So.
Right. It shows you how useless kids are the minute you're not there, doesn't it? Right, look, we're going to leave it because I've just realised it's 8:20. We've got our Fit to Fly. We've got a Fit to Fly PCR test at 9:10. So realistically, we've got to leave in about 20 minutes to get there. I know it's been a lot of emotion in this one, and I imagine the next ones are going to be even more emotional because that's going to be either on the way to the airport. I don't know. But as usual, thanks for listening. Keep your messages coming. Keep checking out our Instagrams, the links in the description of this podcast. And I'm absolutely dreading today. We'll let you know how it goes on the next podcast.
Yeah.
You ready? See you later.
Bye.
The end.